This week on Outdoor Bound TV, we travel to historic Nantucket Island off the coast of Massachusetts and recognized as the hub of the whaling industry in the 1800s for a little saltwater fishing action with our friend Brian Simmons and his daughter Porter. We'll be fishing the waters between Martha's Vineyard and Nantucket for probably one of the most famous species to chase in the Northeast, the striped bass. What a beautiful animal.
Unbelievable.
Another great hunt.
Oh, what a day. Look at that.
That is a bear.
That's a giant walleye.
Outdoor Bound TV is brought to you by Mission by Matthews and Vortex Optics.
Mission Crossbow sets a new standard in crossbow design with the all-new Sub 1. With over 26 revolutionary patents, including 80% let-off SyncX cam system and CNC machined flight deck, the Sub 1 is the most accurate crossbow the world has ever seen. Featuring benchmark fire control, the Sub 1 is the first crossbow that allows you to safely decock with the push of a button. Unparalleled maneuverability, quality, and accuracy. The Sub 1 redefines the crossbow experience.
Northland Auto Center, the Midwest's premier dealer of Yeti fish houses, introduces the 2018 line of ultimate all-season trailers, built for summer fun, fall hunting, and winter ice fishing. The Yeti ranges in size from 16 to 21 feet, and you're sure to find the perfect layout to fit your family. With unique designs featuring a kitchen and bathroom, your opinion of a fish house will never be the same. See the pros at Northland Auto Center to create your own legend with Yeti.
Excellent. Oh, there's a good one. Awesome.
Beautiful fish.
Look at how he ate that
He
too.
ate that Google Eye jig.
This is the Google Eye. It's available in a live bait series and then a long hook shank series. And what we did is we took a glass rattle and built it into the middle of the round jig head and just bouncing it. It hits the bottom, that glass rattle's rattling and it's sending off vibration in this dirty water in this river, and that's the result right there.
This one's coming home with me.
Hi everyone, welcome to Outdoor Bound TV. I'm Kurt Walbeck. On last week's show, we got the opportunity to meet Brian Simmons when he and a few of his friends were hunting for grouse and woodcock in northern Minnesota. Well, on this week's show, we hop on a plane and follow Brian back to Nantucket Island. Now, Nantucket was famous in history for the whaling industry, so we take a few moments to explore some of the history and heritage that this great island has to offer. Well, Nantucket is also famous for something else, striped bass fishing. So we hop on a boat with Captain Corey Gamble, Brian, and his daughter Porter to head out onto the Atlantic Ocean in search of stripers.
Hi, I'm Brian Simmons. I've been lucky enough to spend the last 25 summers on the island of Nantucket off the coast of Massachusetts. My daughter Porter is a great kid, and she's always loved the outdoors, she's always loved adventure, and she's always had enough patience to tag along with me for various activities. So it's been a ton of fun to spend time with her here, and a ton of fun to get her out on a boat once in a while.
You know what? It's a beautiful day for a boat ride.
Nantucket's basically due east of New York City, and that surprises a lot of people. Well, it's a sandbar off the coast of America, and it's dependent far more on the weather patterns of the ocean than the weather patterns of the mainland. And we spend a lot of time looking at what the wind's doing and what the tides are doing and what the ocean temperature is, because that's probably going to determine whether we play golf or spend the day inside working or can go fishing or maybe have a game of tennis.
We got a unique fish coming up. Perfect. Black sea bass. Take a step towards the front of the boat. Sweet. Tip to me, tip to me, tip to me. Good job. It's gonna come in the boat, Mr. Black Sea Bass. Hey! Porter! Way to go, Porter.
I got it.
We got a unique species here.
I was just, bobbing along, and all of a sudden, I caught a fish.
So, but be more specific. You were all relaxed.
I wasn't paying any attention.
Jigging the rod up and down.
I'm the last person that should be catching a fish on this boat, and I still caught it.
But then what happened? What happened? Your hands all of a sudden went, oh.
They did, and then I thought I lost him for a second. It was very dramatic.
But you got all excited, didn't you?
Yeah, I got super excited. I mean, who wouldn't be thrilled about this guy, right?
So this is a black sea bass. It looks like a tropical fish, and our population of black sea bass has actually grown tremendously in the last 3 years. Probably 4 or 5 years ago, we wouldn't be catching them here. These guys sit right on the bottom, and Porter was doing a little jigging with a heavy metal down on the bottom, and all of a sudden they come up and go whoop, eat them. And these are actually some of the best tasting fish we have in Nantucket. So, Porter, give me some elbow. Good job.
Thanks.
Nantucket and Martha's Vineyard are both off the coast of Massachusetts, and they're pretty close to each other. From the western end of Nantucket, you can see Martha's Vineyard on a clear day. It's about 15 miles from the western end of Nantucket. The two islands are pretty close to each other, but they're pretty separate. People tend to spend time on one or the other. There's some friendly competitions between some of the tennis teams and sailing teams on both islands, and there's a big rivalry between the two local high school football teams. And of course, those football teams have to get on a boat or an airplane to go play each other, and it always ends up being a big event in the fall for the community.
A little bit. Okay, and now set the hook. Yes, fish on, fish on. Way to go, Porter! We caught a fish.
Yes!
Sweet, right there. Hold on. It's a scup. Porgy. You caught that. No one else did. Just you.
He's so cute.
He is so cute. Do you think he's cuter than the black sea bass?
A little. He's smaller. Don't hurt him.
I'm not trying to. You're actually the one who did the hurting. Just let's be clear about that.
Wow, way to rub it in there.
Yep, just being honest.
He's a tiny little guy, but he's so cute. This one feels more like a boy to me.
This is a boy fish? Yeah,
It's
sure.
a boy fish, yeah.
Sure, because the girls are stronger?
Yeah,
Girl
always.
power. There you go. So it's a little scup. Cute little bottom fish.
I'm not the biggest fisherwoman, but I'm getting there. I'm learning, slowly but surely. No fish is alike. They're all different. They all have different personalities, different sizes and shapes. So I'm just out here, looking for a good time. Oh, it's fighting. Oh my God.
That's a big black sea bass.
Woo!
Step this way, go that way.
Well, Porter's a great athlete, and she's a pretty strong girl. So I think once she figured out what she was supposed to be doing with the bail and the rod tip, she managed to get the cast going pretty well.
I said I like bass. It just makes me a little sad.
Yeah.
But they're yummy.
Yeah, and we're not much for competition around hunting or fishing, but I think a little bit with your daughter is probably okay. And she was pretty pleased that she'd caught 2 or 3 fish before you or I landed one.
7 to 1, 8 to 1, I don't know. All I know is she's eating dinner and I'm going hungry.
And at some point it turns from lady luck into lady skill, right?
Let me just catch this fish really quickly.
What's going on? Oh, Brian's on now!
Double! Woo! Oh, it's another little scup. Poor guy.
I'm just gonna do the release current like you say. Your dad wins on quality, just in case we're gonna.
Hey, I got some back.
I know, but I'm just saying that last one, you know? Right. Baby black sea bass, he'll get to be big someday. Yummy, yummy.
Send him back.
I'm sure she'll be reminding me of that throughout the year, but I keep pointing out to her that if you add up the pounds I caught and the pounds she caught, you know, the score may look a little more lopsided the other way.
Wow, they're all over the place today.
Pretty good day, huh? Nobody else can catch them, but Porter's got the magic hand. We got Lady Luck going here.
What did I do with that?
Only Porter.
So, Porter, what is the score right now?
The score is well, actually, no, it's 4-2. I'm not gonna lie. I was about to say 4-1. It's 4-2. The girl's in the lead. Not to toot my own horn, but I'm gonna toot my own horn a little bit.
So is that enough
It's
for
pretty.
how many would that feed?
That's the problem. It feeds probably 3, maybe 2 to 3. So, I mean, it's up to you guys.
Come on back. Yeah.
Let him live.
Outdoor Bound TV is brought to you by Amsoil Synthetic Lubricants and Mountain Dew. Since 1957, Meyer Buildings has offered full design and project management for your farm, equestrian, commercial, and storage building needs. Our recreational building line specializes in the design and construction of affordable, remote area buildings for the outdoorsman.
Whether it's a hunting cabin, lake home, workshop, or commercial facility, Meyer Buildings will design and build a building that is uniquely tailored to your needs.
My name is Jeff Meyer from Meyer Recreational Buildings. Call us today for a better way to build.
Hi folks, my name is Jeff Skelly and I've been a professional fishing guide here on Lake Winnibigoshish for the last 31 years. One common question we get is, where do I start? When the sun is shining, head out to the mid-lake structure with Lindy rigs and leeches, and when the clouds are in, head to the weeds, 10-12 feet of water with a spinner and a leech.
For more great fishing tips, log on to bowenlodge.com.
Duncan Creek Wood Creations is putting quality, handcrafted products from the North Woods of Wisconsin right at your fingertips. Offering a full line of custom wood furniture, bedroom sets, dining room tables, and cabinets. Available today. Simply go to our website to select any of our in-stock, handcrafted, custom-made bars, bar stools, cribbage boards, and end tables. Shipped directly to your door in just days. Duncan Creek Wood Creations.
Well, Nantucket's a wonderful sailing community because we have a spectacular harbor. It's 7 or 8 miles long and probably about a half a mile wide, and the wind blows in the perfect direction most of the time. It's a sandy bottom, so no rocks, and there's 6 or 8 different fleets of boats that race against each other here on the island of Nantucket. And it can be as informal as you want to make it, or it can be pretty regular a few times a week. And so it's sort of like playing golf. Instead of going to the golf course, we go to the harbor.
So this is a Nantucket Illyrian, and it's a replica of a boat named Illyrian, designed in the early 1900s by a guy named Nathaniel Herreshoff, an MIT engineer who was known as the Wizard of Bristol, where he built sailboats. And he designed the first 4 or 5 winning America's Cup boats in that generation. And when he retired, he built himself a small sloop that he could sail alone. It was supposed to be beautiful, fun, fast, and dry. And about 30 years ago, a Nantucketer named Alfie Sanford got a hold of the plans that were in the MIT archives, and he started a company called the Sanford Boat Works here on Nantucket. and he began building Illyrians using the cold molding system. They're at the light to sail with a self-tending jib, so one person can easily sail the boat. We usually race with 2 or 3, and as you can see, can take 5 or 6 if we want to. That's the Nantucket Illyrian.
Sure. Well, I grew up in Pennsylvania, so most of my early fishing was in streams or lakes for trout or perch, but I've been fishing most of my life one way or another. And when we started spending time out here in the summer, it was only natural that we'd start taking advantage of the fishing that Nantucket has to offer. And it's a pretty big picture in terms of fishing. You can fish almost all year round. Striped bass in the spring and into early summer, bluefish pretty much throughout the summer into the fall, tuna coming in later in the summer if you're willing to go offshore, bonita, false albacore, and then all the fish you take your kids to catch, the bass or the black bass or the scups, or you can catch fish off the docks in town. So I've come full circle, fishing by myself before we had kids, or kids old enough to fish anyways, and then taking my kids to town to catch a few fish off the dock, and now taking them out in boats for striped bass once in a while.
Right along that edge there, right? Perfect. That's gonna get one.
So the bow of the boat's going up or down, 6, 8 feet. And when you're standing up there trying to cast, you better have your balance. So you need some shoes with sticky bottoms, and you need to figure out what your first move's going to be. If the deck goes out from under you, where are you going to grab? And of course, once you hook a fish, you tend to move back towards the middle of the boat or the stern, where it's going to be a lot easier to land the fish and bring it on board.
Fish on! Good job. Hey Chris, we're coming back that way. Before it goes to the bow. Once you got, hold on 1 second.
So there's a lot of things about striper fishing that surprise people. One is that you really need the water to be moving, and that the fish move, and that you got to find them. And of course, the best way to find them is to look for the birds. When you see 20 or 30 birds that are diving and bobbing and circling, you know that there's some bait fish there, and that means there's going to be some stripers and probably some bluefish there as well.
Yeah, it's a nice striper.
In the boat.
So look at that, a perfect striped bass just before sunset. We left Nantucket and crossed almost all the way to the Vineyard and backed up to this edge just as the tide started running. It was pretty rough, but on the second cast, this guy hit. So there we are, Nantucket striped bass.
The other thing that surprises people is how shallow it gets in some of these offshore sandbars. So we were probably 6 or 8 miles from land, and the water where we were fishing went from 30 feet deep to 5 feet deep. And where that change in depth occurred, the waves start breaking. And where the waves break, the bait fish sort of get trapped.
What? This one's bigger.
And so that's what we were trying to take advantage of, was casting just in front of those waves and letting the current pull the lure back over and then reel through. And as the bait came through, as our lure came through, the stripers had hit. And we went, that one stretch of half an hour where probably every 4th or 5th cast we were catching a fish.
started the night over off Nantucket, and as the sun started coming down and the tide started making up, we made our way over to Martha's Vineyard just south of there. Just as the tide started to get going, got a couple good casts in, and these fish, they're everywhere. They're rolling right now. So we got about an hour of sunlight left, and we're going to take advantage of it. Thank you. Good looking fish. Good job.
The fight of a striper can really vary depending on the water conditions and of course the size of the fish. And you know, the fish we were catching ranged from probably 20, 22 inches up to 36, 38 inches. And you know, that's a big difference, and it's the same gear. So you hook a 35-inch striper, you know, you're going to be able to tell a pretty big difference from a 25-inch striper. When they hit the lure, you can feel it right away. It's sort of a thud. And you know, and you have a second there to set the hook, and once it sets, it usually holds.
Yes, Brian. Good job.
Good job.
Well done, Brian.
Right on the edge.
Typically, the fish will put up less fight for the first 5 or 10 seconds, and then they'll turn and run. And once they run, they usually take some line. You know, you don't want to let them get too much out, because in rough water like that, you know, it can take a while to get it back in. But typically, if you just keep pressure on them and wait them out a little bit, you can slowly bring them into the boat. And I've found that they always have one last burst. When they see that boat, they know something bad is about to happen, and they see that boat and they turn and run again. And so then you got another couple of minutes where you gotta work them around to the stern and land them.
He's still got some line out.
Brian, did that fish in the first wave, second wave, third wave?
I think it was in the first wave.
What?
First wave. It's right here.
One, two, three. Oh!
Quarters is a great kid, and I know she was a little bit disappointed she didn't hook a bass, but maybe we'll get her out there again this summer and give her another chance.
That one may be going home.
I'm a little bummed. I have yet to catch a striper. They don't seem to like me very much.
31 inches, so we can keep
I did get all of the scut though, which, you know, scup, which is, in my opinion, a much better fish than a striped bass. Just, you know, they're small and cute, harmless little things. So it's all about how you look at it. You know, there are no winners and losers. There's just fishermen and fisherwomen.
That's the lamest line I've ever heard. There's no winners and losers.
There's just fishermen.
Oh, spoken like a true loser.
Yeah, when you were up 8-2, you were just bragging
I was
about
winning
how
at
good
one
you were.
point.
Yeah, Porter
Now your
counts.
dad is on a rip. Porter counts fish. I count tonnage.
Yeah.
All right,
No winners
you know
and
what?
losers. I grew up in the
Like
age of
I said, I
participation
don't
trophies.
discriminate based on size.
Look at that. So we backed up on that edge again. The waves are really breaking. It's hard to stand in the bow and throw the lure, but look what we came up with. Another spectacular striper on a beautiful evening.
Awesome.
What do you think?
I think it's awesome. So you did a perfect cast. The thing is, these fish are sitting, there's the first wave, second wave, and third wave, and that's right where the sandbar is. And you casted it ahead of it, first wave, second wave, third wave, back to the first wave, and the first wave is where the fish are.
First wave is where the fish
Meaning
are.
they're sitting behind that sandbar and coming up and attacking it, meaning these fish are being really, really aggressive right now. So it's beginning the tide, it's what they should be,
Right?
aggressive.
They're hungry.
Yep, good
Right?
job. I'm gonna grab this from you.
There's a lot of things about striped bass fishing that make it special, and I don't think they're all unique to Nantucket or to striped bass fishing. You've had a chance to meet Corey, and well, we think striped bass is some of the best eating around, and we're lucky that in Massachusetts, if you're inside the 3-mile line, you can keep one fish a day over 28 inches, and of course we kept one, which we'll enjoy. And there's a lot of ways to cook it. They all work. It's a firm, tender, flavorful white fish. You can grill it on the grill, you can bake it, you can saute it, you can make tacos out of it, and pretty much anything you do to it is just a fantastic way to serve it. We think simple is better, so maybe some fresh herbs and garlic and olive oil and a nice bottle of wine to go with it. You know, everyone here cares a lot about the fishery, and we care a lot about the fish, and we have a lot of respect for nature, and we want to do it the right way, and we want to make sure that, that we have a good time, but that everything that makes this place so special continues on, and you know, and that everyone has a lot of understanding and respect for what a special place this island is.
Outdoor Bound TV is brought to you by the W.C. Russell Moccasin Company and Brewpub Pizza.
What we chase cannot simply be caught. And what propels us takes far more than fuel. The distance we go is never measured in miles. And we find there's always more at the end of the line. Your moment is out there. Find it.
We handle your races, your jumps, and your trails. Isn't it time you give your daily driver the same love? AmSoil's Signature Series Synthetic Motor Oil delivers 75% more engine protection against horsepower loss and wear than required by leading industry standards. And now, ordering AmSoil is even easier. Simply log on to qcamsoil.myamsoil.com and have quality AmSoil products delivered right to your door.
Optimizer by HHA Sports.
The Optimizer Kingpin marks the third generation of archery's #1 selling single-pin adjustable sight. On the range or in the field, start ruling your kingdom today with the Optimizer Kingpin. The Optimizer Speed Dial. Extend the range and accuracy of your crossbow. To-the-yard accuracy with a single reticle. Simply range, dial, and shoot. All Optimizer sight systems are made in the USA and carry a 100% lifetime guarantee. Ask for Optimizer at a dealer near you.
Big Bear Down. Whether you're looking for a sweet recipe for bear bait or quality bear scents, we've got you covered. Big Bear Down offers all their bait selections by the bag, the barrel, or in bulk. From crushed sugar cones, trail mix, and granola to our syrups, frostings, and bait toppings, we've got the variety to keep the most cautious bears coming back again and again. Big Bear Down scents can be used as an attractant or cover scent and draws bears in from miles around. Look for Big Bear Down by our distributing at 2 convenient Wisconsin locations or at a retailer near you.
Outdoor Bound TV is brought to you by Rapala and HHA Sports.
Hey Brian, thanks for taking the time to show us around Nantucket Island. It is a pretty historic place. And I think Porter would be pretty quick to point out she did catch the most fish on the boat that day. Now, if you're interested in heading to Nantucket Island to fish for striped bass with Corey Gamble and Bill Fisher Outfitters, all of his information is right on the screen. Give him a call. And we hope that you'll join us again here next week when we'll bring you more great hunting and fishing action from around the U.S., around Canada, and around the world, right here on Outdoor Bound TV.
I'm not a fan of this, I'm not gonna lie.
Yo, fellas! Nobody else can catch him, but Porter's got the magic hand. We got Lady Luck going here. Little baby black sea bass. He'll get to be big someday.
That's lucky number 6 right there. Or 5.5.
I think it's like 7 to 1.
I just made that up for dramatic effect.
7 to 1, 8 to 1, I don't know.
Ah, I can't do it, I can't do it, I can't.